Hello again, this is Mike Mulvena with azlessor.com. I want to talk today about just some three simple definitions that pop up repeatedly in almost our daily business of property management. So the first one we want to look at is possession and delivery of possession. The law gives us these definitions in section 1310, 33-1310 of the Arizona Residential Landlord Tenant Act. It says delivery of possession means returning the dwelling unit keys to the landlord and vacating the premises. So many times there are arguments between a tenant and a landlord, a tenant and a property manager, because they get charged for extra days' rent when the tenant has actually moved out of the property. And the important thing to understand here is if you're the tenant and you're vacating the unit, there's two things that needs to happen. One, you need to get out, which usually people get that. But the more important part is you have the responsibility to return the keys to the landlord. Or if there's a property manager acting as the agent for the landlord, then you must return the keys to the property manager. So the law is very specific about this. It doesn't mean you can vacate the house, leave the keys on the kitchen counter, and be done with the unit. I can legally charge you for additional rent for every single day until you return the keys to me. So please make sure that you understand possession of the property is defined by who's got the keys. So if you still have the keys, Mr. Tenant, you're still going to be paying rent because you still have legal possession of the property. Okay, so the second definition we want to look at is a term called good faith. Good faith is lacking, I think, in most of our businesses these days. Gosh, most of our lives these days, it seems like all I hear about are complaints about products and services and businesses and people and things that they do and don't do, and it seems like an awful lot of people just don't care anymore. In property management, again, the same statute 33-1310 defines good faith as honesty in fact in the conduct or transaction concerned. It means, did you enter into the transaction honestly? Were you applying honestly? Were you entering into this business agreement or this arrangement in good faith? Were you being honest about all the facts that are applicable to it? So keep that in mind. The tenant and the landlord, property manager, have the obligation to act in good faith. The third one is landlord. Who's the landlord? Is it the property manager? Is it the owner of the property? Is it the guy on Craigslist who's telling you to send him thousands of dollars and he'll mail you the keys? Okay, who's the landlord? The landlord is defined as the owner of the property. How do you find out who the owner is? Go to the county assessor's office and look them up. If you're dealing with somebody on Craigslist that says they're the landlord or the owner of the property, you can check that really easily by just pulling up the owner of record on the county assessor, and it'll tell you who owns the property. So the statute says that the landlord is the owner, the lessor, or sublessor of the dwelling or the building of which it is part, and it also means a manager of the premises who fails to disclose as required by a different section 13-1322. So if I've been hired as the property manager for the owner of the property and I'm creating a lease, it is my obligation to disclose to you, the prospective tenant, who the owner of the property is. If I fail to disclose to you who the owner of the property is, then the statute says I am now considered the landlord, which makes me totally liable for anything that regards this transaction. So, property managers, make sure that you disclose to a tenant the owner of record of the property, and make sure you do it clearly. If you're using the AAR lease, it's line number 1. It says landlord, owner of record, not you, not your property management company, but the actual owner of the property. Disclose to the tenant who that person is. Okay, I hope those definitions kind of help clear the air on a couple of things there that we will be dealing with as we progress through the next few months. So again, have a great day. My name's Mike Mulvena, azlessor.com.